Kia ora koutou. Ko Sarah Riley toko inua. I'm a professor in critical health psychology at Massey University. This is 5 minutes of health psychology from the Massey perspective. Let's start with some basics. Health psychology is the application of psychology to health issues. Primarily, we focus on physical health while recognizing that there are blurred boundaries between mental and physical health. Health psychology can happen in research and practice and can occur at 3 levels: creation, maintenance, and promotion of health, prevention and treatment of illness, and enhancing outcomes for illness or people with disabilities. A third element of health psychology is critically reflecting on what we mean by health. For critical health psychologists, this means challenging taken for granted understandings about the normal and natural way that we think the world works, about people, health. One of the taken for granted in psychology is starting with the individual, and we question that individualism in psychology. And from that, we foreground issues of power, inequities, and social justice. So rather than imagine the individual that then interacts with their environment, we think of people as being produced through their social context. An analogy of an apple on an apple tree might help here. So we can imagine that how an apple tree grows in the kind of soil it grows in, whether it's stony soil or sandy soil, whether water flows through it nicely or not, whether the sun hits the leaves in a way that allows it to generate energy, whether that happens the same throughout all of the year or only in certain seasons, whether there are insects on the tree and whether those insects nourish the tree in some way or burrow into it and harm it, whether the people around the tree are able to care for it because they know how to look after apple trees, or perhaps they don't because they're not used to apple trees. All of these different factors will shape the kind of apple that gets produced on that tree. And we can use that analogy to think about people. We also live in a very complex social context that shapes who we can become. Our social context is the political systems we live in, the institutions that shape our ability to do things or think about ourselves in certain ways, the material world we live in, the way that the urban environment, for example, is structured, the way the discourses or ideas that we share between us that we think are normal and natural. All of these ways of talking or structuring organizations or shaping the physical world around us, that's our social context, and it interacts in multiple and complex ways, shaping who we can become. So this approach in critical health psychology has synergies with Kopapamadi approaches to research, who ask similar questions about taken for granted knowledge. They ask, whose truth? And they query what is being constructed and for whom. We also share synergies with the Indigenous view of health as something that's integrated. And we draw on, for example, Mason Jury's now classic idea of the Whare Tapawha model of health as the 4 walls that support the house. If these ideas pique your curiosity, you want to know more, maybe think about studying with us at Massey. Our values have been critical in the sense of being informed by critical theory, as I've started to introduce to you now. We're collaborative. Staff and students work together to produce interesting projects and to share and think through ideas. We're creative. We use a range of research methods, including qualitative and participatory methods, as well as quantitative work. Our students give us valuable feedback. Here's one I'd like to share. They said, I feel like I'm not only receiving an education to get me a degree, but one that is expanding my horizons, challenging my worldviews, and making me more ready to be a successful psychologist. Well, that's super validating for us to hear. That's what we want, is to enhance critical thinking and give a challenging environment where people can grow and learn. The courses that we offer to help you do that are courses in health psychology, understanding health, illness, and enhancing treatment, as well as health promotion. We also teach a range of research methods, quantitative and qualitative. We have work-integrated learning opportunities. Students can also choose elective courses to follow personal interests or to start designing training that will facilitate career pathways in policy, organizational psychology, or professional practice. And in the second year of a master's, you do a thesis. That's an individual piece of research, shaping your own project to look at something that's important to you, being supervised by a leader in the field. If you want to know more about our program, speak to or hear our alumni, you can use that QR code. You can meet the alumni, hear what they enjoyed about doing critical health psychology with us at Massey, and see what they went on to do afterwards. Thanks for listening. Kia kaha.